So right now the big controversy is with this legendary skin. Now, no one's talking about what I think is going to be the bigger problem. And when I say bigger problem, I mean if people are complaining about Yoza's jar, they're going to really complain about that Esther weapon. Let's talk about the Esther weapon really quick. I'm going to get...
You want to talk about Esther weapon?
I do want to talk about Esther weapon. I'm going to be the first person to just... Maybe we'll do a video on it. I don't know. But I want to talk to you about the Esther. Let's address this invisible elephant in the room. That is the Esther weapon. Okay. First of all, Zeals has an Esther weapon that's not like maxed out, right? Can you tell us? Actually, let's start with this. Tell us about the Esther weapon. What is the Esther weapon? How does it work? And why do people call it the 사장님 weapon, which is like the whale weapon? Well, tell us about this Esther weapon. Break it down for us.
That's tough because Esther weapon is labeled as, like, even the director said it's going to be the whale weapon. And the amount of money that you need to spend to get that weapon does not justify the efficiency of you actually spending, if that makes sense. So Lost Ark's character, DPS growth, right? It's actually, I don't know if this is the right word, logarithmic, where the graph kind of like dulls out.
Yeah.
It's not linear.
Right, right.
So pushing that 1% costs you that much more to get it that much higher, right? But you have different players. You have different players where someone like me, instead of pushing that 1%, why do I make a exact same character at that level?
Right.
That's how much it costs. As in, if I had, instead of going to +8 Esther weapon, I can make like 6 more characters at 1540. That's like the difference thing. Then I can play different characters, right? You can have different fun. But let's say you're like the lineage CEO guy, right? Who plays lineage, right? You have one character. You want to make it as strong as it can. You want to be number 1. Then you spend that much more so that you can actually be in that status, that number 1 status. Everyone has different goals, right? So to provide something to provide someone that enjoyment, I'm pretty sure they made it like that, right? That's the goal, because you got to have something. You got to have those top tier whales to spend something, but it shouldn't break the game though. So the balance between that is, I think it's pretty fine, because like having the Esther weapon doesn't break the game, like as in just doesn't make everything insanely easier. But you do get much stronger, a little bit stronger than everyone who doesn't have it. But
will it be the difference between MVPing or cruel fightering?
You get MVP most of the time if you're Esther +8.
If you're Esther, okay. So if you're Esther +8, what would you say is the damage difference there?
That's tough because I don't have one.
Right,
and
right.
I forgot to. I mean, I have friends who have Esther +8, but I haven't really interviewed them yet. But I never asked them about it. But
you had to guess. No, you know what? Don't guess. If you don't, let's that could open Pandora's box if you guess and it's off. You know what I mean? I don't want you.
I don't think it's insanely different.
My understanding is that it's for sure at the very least under 10%.
It should be, because like
my understanding, I was under the impression that was like 5 to 10% range roughly.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, take your time.
So Esther 8, because you can just look at the numbers actually. It's actually not that hard.
Okay. So
you have, let's say, a Sork, right? Let's say a sorceress weapon. Because you can just edit this out, right?
Yeah. Don't. No, I actually no. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, this is gonna be a long video anyway. No.
So +25 of ancient weapon is 59,390 weapon attack, right?
59,000. Okay.
And Esther +8 is 64,519.
64,000. Okay, so that's like a 5,000 difference. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
but I don't think that's not that much.
How much more damage would that be? I wonder.
But
Yeah.
so it is, and the thing is, if it's under 10 million gold, it would make sense.
Mm.
But the amount that it requires for you to do it, it is aimed towards something like a streamer, right? Or
Mm.
who needs to push things that average players cannot get.
Asmongold.
Uh, Correct. Yeah, if he
Yeah.
wants to.
Right.
Or like in Korea, you go Esther weapon to get, since I can't do it, his viewers give the gold or viewers donate to see this content, right?
Right.
Because Esther weapon, if you upgrade them, you get a different cutscene too. You
You
get a
get a different.
cutscenes and everything.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
You get a different
Yeah, yeah.
cutscene?
Yeah. You get
Oh my
cutscenes.
gosh.
And you also have Esther's skills. So when he actually got the Esther weapon, he tested out all the skills for the chat,
Mm-hmm.
just to see how it works. And then they go, and the result was actually very bad, as in like it wasn't
Uh-huh.
as good as they thought. That's
Right.
why everyone was like, oh, okay, I guess I don't need it, right? But you
Right.
still go for the aesthetics. You still go for
The title, the
the
prestige of it.
title, the prestige.
Right.
And I totally agree putting in a system there because there are different users in the game and there are different goals, and then people find enjoyment on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And the director's job was to deliver something that you can aim for every single player. So he just made a system that can be delivered to giga whales that can have fun, right? But it doesn't break the game, right?
Okay, so that's interesting you say that. So like you're saying that there were whales that already kind of hit hard caps with everything and had no incentive to play. So to give them something to do or work towards, that was the purpose of that Esther weapon.
Correct.
That's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about these skills. Some of these skills, the Esther weapon skills. You said they were underwhelming, but what can you kind of give us a couple of examples?
You get to choose like ways, Thyrane, Ninavi, those kind of guys to have their soul inside the weapon, and if you fill up the gauge, you get to use their skill.
How
It's
do you fill
usually
up the
I think it's
gauge?
control. I think it's control V or C.
Okay.
You fill up the gauge by just fighting. You can
Okay.
use it once during a fight, I think.
Okay,
Once or
okay.
twice during a fight. And Thyrane is something like you activate it, you get to. It's like a side focus. I think
Okay.
you do more damage in a certain amount of time.
Gotcha.
So I don't know too much about it. And for Wei just appears out of nowhere and just a little bit of stacker. The funny part is there's a video.
Okay, so it's kind of like the Esther skills, like
Yeah,
the
it's kind of like the
sidereal
Esther skills.
Okay.
So someone actually, number one Gunlancer player, right? That streams in Twitch. He used the waste Esther skill on the item. It was less than his bash.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He just did bash. It is half of bash.
Wow.
For the stacker. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not game breaking. People thought it was game breaking, but it wasn't. So
gotcha. So what was the reaction like when it came out? So like I'm assuming that people were actually concerned about it at first, and then once it came out, they didn't give a fuck. Is that what happened? What was the reactions when they announced it added into the game in post?
So when that happened, people did worry about it, but director's image was so good at that point.
They trusted
I
him.
don't think they trusted him. And when it actually came out, they knew it sucked, so it was for a prestigious players that have a lot of money to spend.
Right.
And since it doesn't break the balance of the game, it was fine.
Are you going to go for one?
Me? Probably not.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe. So the thing is, you can still grind Esther stuff.
Right.
As in, you can get bounded Esther things. So
how do you get those?
By beating Broshaza, that's it.
Okay.
And you can still get Esther soul. So for someone like me, if I ever get an Esther soul, I can sell it off at the auction house and get some gold, right? So it does help me too. Like basically the game kind of need whales for someone me to sell, so I can proceed with my stuff, right? Because like let's say I sit, I log onto the game and I go, I really want to play striker. I want to push my striker. I need the gold, right? So instead of swiping all the time, maybe I can try like make the gold and get it back. But this doesn't apply to NA though, because when I hear you guys talking about NA, Korea doesn't have bot issues. So the
Mm.
market in Korea is pretty stable to me, at least. But in NA, there's like bots and there's RMTs a lot, so it really doesn't fall into like, I want to say it's safe, but like that's like another problem, right?
Sure, sure.
So
It is a little bit different, especially the culture and the circumstance with the bots for sure. You know what I thought is this is something I was actually talking about with my chat. I think in NA when this weapon comes out, it will not be well received. I mean, who knows what happens in the aftermath? Maybe in the aftermath, NA players don't give a shit about it, kind of like the Korea players. Like they realize it doesn't matter. But I feel like when this comes out, like forget about the skills. I think just the fact that you do more damage and the fact that you will be MVPing, that's going to be a big deal for the NA community. What are your
yeah, I
thoughts
mean, yeah.
on this thing coming out in NA? Because like for me personally, I was talking about that when I was talking about this with my chat earlier. We thought like, yo, imagine if they like changed it. Like what? Like imagine if they like either didn't come out, like just didn't release it for our version, period, because it's not well received here, or if they released it but they made it different. If they made it obtainable in a different way, like if they made it obtainable to like where like you only get those mats by clearing Inferno modes, the hell modes. And you have to actually be really fucking good at the game and clearing these hell modes to actually get an Esther weapon. I think that that would be a great alternative to get an Esther weapon. That way it's like,
Well, yeah.
yeah.
I agree, but when
Probably
that
not.
happens, you will still have people complaining because they don't get it.